Foster Season 5 has officially arrived, so let's find out what happens with all those cliffhangers on this episode of What Happened. Hello there, Lisa here, and welcome back to my recap show. Now, the Foster's 5th season has officially kicked off, and it already looks like it's gonna be more intense than ever. Now, if you really want to know what's in store for this season, I have the hookup for you. You can check out my exclusive interviews with the cast where they talk about all the relationships on the show, the drama, and even answer your fan questions from Twitter. Those links are down in the description below. They'll also be in the end card. You don't want to miss them, trust me. Okay, so the season premiere picks up right where the season 4 finale left off, so let's kick this recap off with the school protest. Education is a right, not just for the rich and white. When we left off, the school board had voted in favor of turning Anchor Beach private, and Mariana and Jude were outside with a bunch of students and parents protesting. Lena, Monty, Mr. Stratos, Nick's dad, Drew, and the rest of the board are stuck inside because the protesters are blocking their way to the parking lot. Mr. Stratos, being the asshole that he is ready to sick the security guards on the kids, but Drew doesn't want any violence or anything to come out of this that would cause bad publicity for the school. Lena says she can go out and reason with them, but of course, Drew steps in saying, you know what, let's go do this, I'll do the talking.
Hashtag Drewshbag.
Well, Drew's pleading does nothing, and he asks Lena to talk to Mariana. Lena tries to tell Mariana to go home for the night, and they can continue their protest tomorrow, the next day, but if they keep it up, that things could definitely get out of hand and people could get hurt. Now, Mariana thinks about it for a second, and then starts a brand new chant.
Hell no, we won't go! Private school is a no!
Mr. Stratos is now fed up and just wants to go home, so he goes back outside, telling all the kids that they lost and it's over and they should go home. This just causes Mariana and the rest of the protesters to chant even louder, and now security is getting involved. And Mr. Stratos goes up to Mariana and tells her to let him through, kind of tries to break apart this human wall. Jude sees that and immediately runs over to protect his sister, as a good brother would do, and he tells Mr. Stratos to get his hands off Mariana. After everyone is gone, Lena finally gives Drew a talking to. She tells him that she tried to give him the benefit of the doubt at first, but now she sees his true colors.
Hashtag Drewshbag.
And she's saying all this while he has this stupid ass smug grin on his face that I would just love someone to slap off. Drew tells Lena that as principal, you have to make some tough decisions.
You know, the thing is, Drew, that technically you're not the principal. And I haven't resigned. And now I'm not going to.
Drew basically has no response for this except good luck with that. Now, Monty has definitely caused her fair share of trouble and made some bad decisions in the past and really hasn't been too likable, but this was the right time for her to step up and get back in her good graces. So what does that mean in relation to all this? Well, since Drew won the principal's vote for turning Anchor Beach private, but he's technically not the principal, that vote is pretty much void and they'd have to vote again. But I have a feeling that it's gonna be one hell of a fight no matter what. Okay, let's move on to Brandon, Jesus, and Emma. Fitting into this storyline as well are Gabe and Anna. Now, Brandon runs after Jesus but ends up losing him, so he turns to Emma and they get in the car to search for Jesus. Now, in the car, Emma says that she never should have gotten Brandon involved, and that's when Brandon actually snaps back saying, I wish you would have just left me out of it, and cue one of the most awkward car rides ever. Gabe has called Anna over because he basically needs some advice about this whole parenting thing. He tells her that maybe it's not a good idea that he's living there since, you know, Jesus won't even talk to him, especially after he told Lena about the medicine thing, that Jesus wasn't taking his meds. And Gabe just doesn't know what to do. He never wanted to be a father, and now all of a sudden he's kind of thrust into it. Anna's also feeling that way because she just wants to be a part of the twins' lives, but they have so much anger towards, you know, both of them, as seen from the therapy session that Anna walked out on. Yeah, they're basically both questioning their parenting skills and if they should kind of even stick around for the twins at all. Gabe and Anna then hear some loud noises outside and see that Jesus has returned home and is destroying everything. Jesus ends up taking a baseball bat to Brandon's keyboard and then Brandon's room. R.I.P. Gandalf poster. I remember sitting next to you during my season 1 interviews. Gabe ends up grabbing Jesus and getting him to stop and comforting him.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. I get you. It's okay. Just breathe.
just breathe is good advice just for any situation, but especially this one. And it helps calm Jesus down, and after he's calmed down, he sits down with Anna and Gabe and they ask him what it's all about. And Jesus tells them that Emma was pregnant, got an abortion, and he's mad at Brandon because Brandon was the father of the baby, or so he thinks. Now as this is going on, Brandon and Emma return home and then they all decide to sit down together. Brandon promises Jesus that nothing ever happened between him and Emma reassures Jesus that she would never cheat on him. Jesus then brings up, what was up with all the looks between, Brandon and Emma and all the whispering, the touching at the piano. And Brandon just says, we were just trying to figure out how to help you. Jesus then brings up this dream that he had where Emma told him that she and Brandon were together, and then Jesus realizes that it was just a dream and it doesn't actually mean that it happened.
I think dreams are our brain's way of trying to put together all the stuff going on in our lives. Like your brain was just trying to put together a story as to why Brandon and Emma were so close, when the real reason is how much they care about you.
So now the wounds seem to be mending between Jesus and Emma as they go out on the porch to wait for Emma's mom to come get her.
I hope that we're okay.
Of course we are.
Now by this time, Lena has returned home, so Gabe and Anna fill her in on everything, including that Jesus was destroying Brandon's stuff with a baseball bat. Now Lena says that she knows that this anger stuff is a symptom of Jesus' TBI, but he really can't be going around destroying things. And that's when Brandon walks in and says, "Destroying what?" And it's like, uh-oh. So Brandon runs upstairs to see that his room has been beat up, and he starts to clean it up, and when Jesus appears outside the door, so I guess those wounds won't be mended just yet. Gabe also decides to stick around, and Anna also makes amends with Mariana. So let's move on to the biggest cliffhanger that we've waited months for, obviously. Callie being stuck in the hotel room with that evil pimp Russell. Callie is still pretending to be Christina, and you can hear her singing in the other room as we see Diamond, Dee, and the other girl, whose name I can't remember at the moment, in the room next door. It seems like Diamond is finally coming to her senses, knows that they're in trouble, needs to get out. So she brings up to Dee that Russell's handed some bag off to someone else. Was that supposed to happen? And it seems like Dee is pretty surprised that Russell has moved whatever stuff is in that bag already. So he says he's going out for a smoke. Meanwhile, Diamond has been eyeing this other girl's phone. She asks if she can play on it, and the girl says, no, but if you're good to daddy, he'll get you another phone. Meanwhile, Dee is outside calling some guy who I think was named Munchie on the phone, telling him what Russell did, but the guy on the other end of the phone doesn't seem too happy about it. Meanwhile, Steph is still in pursuit of Callie's phone. Now, Callie ends up telling Russell she doesn't want to do this anymore, and she wants to go, which is pretty ballsy on Callie's part, because Russell's kind of scary and has that gun, right? Well, Russell tells her that everything's gonna be fine, she maybe just needs a makeover, so she calls over Diamond and this other girl. By now, Callie's phone has stopped moving, and we get a really heartbreaking scene where Steph is looking all over a liquor store and then the laundromat for Callie, but finds nothing. She even starts tapping on the trunks of cars, saying Callie's name, thinking that Callie might be trapped in one of them. And it just rips your heart out, and I just wanted to reach through the TV and hug Steph and tell her to go to the All-Star Inn. Callie's okay for now. Well, eventually Steph sees the phone on the move again, catches a glimpse of the car that's leaving the parking lot, hops in her own car to pursue that car. Now, as the girl's giving Callie her makeover, Diamond steals her phone and goes into the other room. There she takes a picture of her next to the sign on the wall that says All-Star Inn and sends it to Steph. Russell then busts in because the other girl said her phone is missing and sees that Diamond has the phone, and Diamond immediately says, "Oh no, she left it in here." So Russell then takes the phone, checks the phone's most recent calls and messages, and thankfully, for once, Diamond was smart enough to erase everything she had just done. Now, of course, Steph gets out of the car right as the message from Diamond comes through, so she doesn't see it for a while, as she and her partner have started grilling the guy who was transporting that bag, who had Callie's phone. So he reveals that he has no idea what's going on, he's just the delivery guy. Steph's partner ends up finding Callie's phone in the bag, and Steph demands to know who gave him this bag, and the description fits Russell. But the guy doesn't know where Russell is. Just said he was driving a white van. When they're done, Steph gets back in her car, finally sees the message from Diamond, speeds off to the All-Star Inn, and calls for backup. Back at the hotel, now that Callie's little makeover is done, Russell seems pretty turned on and kicks everyone else out of the room, starts to derobe, and while he's doing this, he makes the mistake of laying his gun down. Now, as soon as Russell touches Callie's leg, she blurts out that she actually isn't Christina, she's Callie. Her mom's a cop, and her mom is on the way to the hotel right now.
Is that cop's daughter you're telling me about?
No, Daddy. Yes, I am. My mom's on her way.
Your mom's on her way here now? How? How's she even know where we're at?
Now, while Russell's turned towards Callie, Diamond grabs the gun and points it at Russell, and Callie pleads with her though not to shoot him because it's just gonna make everything worse for all of them. Then they hear banging on the door, and it seems like that Munchie guy has arrived to have some words with Russell. Diamond and Callie take this opportunity to run into the other room where they hide in the bathroom. Now they can hear the fighting of Russell and Munchie through the wall, and they decide they gotta make a run for it. So they get up, and as they're going to run out, they hear a gunshot. They then swing open the front door and run outside just as the police arrive.
Oh, we have to get out of here. Come on.
Now the police tell them to put their hands up and for Diamond to drop the weapon, but Diamond's kind of frozen and is not dropping that gun, so Callie steps in front of her so the police can't shoot her. Steph arrives in the nick of time though and gets Diamond to drop the gun, and then they tell the police that everyone else is in room 119. Okay, phew, so that drama is finally over. We learn that Russell was shot and is being put in the ambulance. The other girl, instead of taking the help offered by Steph's partner, decides to go off with Russell, and then Diamond is sent off to a home for girls that want to get out of that lifestyle. Now here's to hoping that Diamond has finally learned her lesson too and is ready to clean up her act. Now on the car ride home with Steph and Callie, things are a bit quiet and awkward at first, and then Steph tells Callie that Troy Johnson confessed to Martha's murder, and while they don't know exactly what's going to happen, they hope it's enough to get Callie's case dismissed. And then Steph lays it out there for Callie.
What's it gonna take, Callie? What's it gonna take for you to start valuing your life? One of these days you're not gonna be so lucky, and I'm not gonna be able to just take you home because they're gonna be taking your body to the morgue. As
tough as that was for Callie to probably hear, it definitely needed to be said. The episode ends with Callie sitting in the bathtub, which kind of seems full circle because I'm pretty sure we've seen a scene like this before. I don't remember what season it is or what it was in regards to because it's been 5 seasons. But I'm pretty sure we've seen her like this before, right? Alright, so that was a pretty intense episode. I'd say I really loved the moments between Gabe and Jesus. I hope that relationship continues to build. I think Gabe is learning to be a good father. It's not easy. It's not something, like he said in this episode, you can't read a book. Like, you can read a book, but it's not really gonna teach you how to be a good dad. Now, while it seems like Emma and Jesus may now be okay, Brandon isn't so happy with Jesus at the moment, so that relationship is gonna take a little bit of time to heal. And will Callie actually learn anything from what's happened to her? Now for next week, let's look at the promo.
You told me that I wasn't disposable, and I'm really trying to believe that.
I am scared of losing you.
Tuesday, it's time to pick up the pieces.
I'm not gonna be a senior next year.
Jesus, I need you to calm.
No, I'm not gonna calm down! I need to prove that I can do something on my own.
There is only so much that any of us can do for you.
You need to decide who you want to be.
The logline for this next episode is that Callie gets control of her life and applies to audit art classes at a local college. Jesus distances himself from Mariana and Brandon so he can build his treehouse with Gabe alone, and the Fosters get a new neighbor. Okay, a new neighbor, that could be fun, right? It's actually kind of shocking we haven't met any neighbors with all the drama and loudness that comes from the Fosters' house. Now, who could be playing that neighbor? We know that Nia Peoples, aka Emily's mom from Pretty Little Liars, will be appearing on The Fosters now, playing a character named Susan, so maybe she's the new neighbor, or Callie's art teacher. Alright, so leave me a comment below or on my socials with your thoughts on this episode. Do you think Brandon has the right to be so mad at Jesus for destroying his room? Do you think Callie will fully learn from her mistakes? And how do you think that trial thing with Troy is gonna play out? And will Monty and Lena be able to stop Drew and Mr. Stratos? Let me know, then you can click right over here to see those exclusive interviews with the cast of The Fosters that I was talking about. I actually have another video with them that's pretty fun. It's a game that you don't want to miss out on, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. As always, I'm Lisa. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and high five to you if you've made it to the end of this video.